I am a very stylish girl.
Hey there everybody, the TribalButterfly is back again, and I'm back with another episode of Ask a Girl Who Can't Define Herself. Feels like it's been a long time since I filmed one of these, so I'm pretty sure this is the first episode of Ask a Girl Who Can't Define Herself that I filmed in this apartment. All my old ones are now done, and we're on to the new, so it's kind of exciting. So, since I'm so excited, I think I'm just going to jump right into the questions. Now, for today's episode, I believe I only have 2 questions because all my questions that came after these 2 were a whole bunch from one viewer, and I will make that mysterious name not privy to you until next month. But yeah, because that person asked so many questions, I just clumped them all together into one video. But because I promised you guys, and I will continue to do it, I always answer the questions in the same order that I got them. That meant that this video, there's only 2. So I'll try to drag out the answers as long as possible. So our first question, I'm so excited, comes from a viewer named Britannia1001. Britannia, I know you've been waiting a really long time, so I hope you're still tuned in and that you'll get to see me answer your question. Okay, so her question was, hey, I have a question. I know you love to sew, and I have to know, what's your favorite material you like to use or play with, since there's so many of them? What can't you wait to get your hands on? Okay, so this actually took me a bit of thought. At first I thought cotton because it's just so easy to work with, but then I was like, nah, not really. I mean, I'm sure there's something better out there, and then I thought silk, but no, I mean, it's so difficult. And then I thought sequins, and I was like, oh, that's even more difficult. So no, I gave it a little bit of thought, and I think the answer is kind of gonna shock you guys. So believe it or not, my favorite material, and one that I don't actually use very often at all, is actually felt. I actually love using felt. It's so easy to work with. It doesn't thread, it doesn't shed, it's easy to cut, you can draw on it, it's really soft, it's easy to sew, and honestly almost anything you make out of it looks awesome. So I actually really like working with felt. Now I obviously don't work with felt to make clothes or costumes. I mean, I might work with fleece to make some costumes, but I don't really work with felt too often. But it's actually super fun to work with, and this felt right here, it's like a neutral, it's like a skin-ish tone, and I actually bought this to make some puppets out of, and so yeah, we'll see if I actually ever get around to it, because yeah, I'm busy, but yeah, I really like working with felt. I think felt's really, really fun, and just for all those reasons I listed, I have a really good time making anything really out of felt. I mean, I actually have a costume that I think you guys have seen before. I know I've shown it. It's up to you if you've watched that video or not. But I have an elf costume that I made, which also doubled as my Christmas elf Zelda costume. And for those of you who haven't seen that video, I apologize that the audio is really, really poor on it. I filmed it at a con, so not the greatest conditions to work under, but go look at that video. It's called, I believe, How Link Saved Christmas, and it's a really old video that I did, but you can totally see me in my felt or fleece Christmas Zelda elf costume that I made, and it's almost completely fleece, which is pretty close to felt. So yeah, you guys gotta check that out. It's just hilarious. Yeah, that's one outfit that I made out of felt, but I think that's it. I mean, I have, actually those aren't even made out of felt, the puppets that I made. They're made out of like spandex. So I'm really excited to actually make puppets out of felt as soon as I can. Now originally I was planning on making some puppets of people I know for their birthday. So we'll see whether or not I get to. The only reason why I might not is, 1, if I don't have time, and 2, because it's actually a lot of work, because I make the clothes for the puppets myself, and depending on what kind of hair they have, that's gonna change what I use, whether I use faux fur or whether I use tassel, and tassel's like really a lot of work and really expensive, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I haven't worked with felt in a really long time, and I'd really like to again. So yeah, felt. My second question of the day comes from, I really hope I'm pronouncing this right, Roxani. And Roxani asks, how did you get introduced to anime? Well, much like many of the people of my generation who are fans of anime, the first anime that I saw, I believe, was Akira. I know the youth of today, your animes are probably not Akira, because you guys are actually fortunate enough that anime is so much more available to you now than it was when I was young. You can actually just turn on television and watch anime all the time now. But when I was young, you couldn't do that. When I was young, you had to import it from Japan because you did not find it on TV. Nobody on this side of the world knew anything about it, knew what it was. They were totally clueless. It was not here. So, like for example, when Sailor Moon came out here, I think I was in high school, and that was really the beginning of anime coming into the Western world really seriously through television. And that's actually why I really like Sailor Moon, is because she kind of brung it, right? I mean, there were a few little things, but nothing really had the popularity of Sailor Moon. I mean, I really think Sailor Moon really brought anime to the Western world. So props to her for that, man. I mean, diss her all you want, but she did something incredible. I mean, even though there was stuff like Dragon Ball that was already here and it was already popular, like, I'm sorry, it really was Sailor Moon that opened the floodgates as far as I'm concerned. I started when I was very young, and it was very, very hard to come by. It was not like right now. So the very, very few animes that were around when I was young was like Dragon Ball. I think that was maybe it. There wasn't a lot. But I actually started through DVDs that my brother would get from his friend who was Korean. So we would just borrow stuff off of him. And the first anime I saw, I believe I was like 3 or something. This is long ago, dude. This is like 27 years ago. The first one I watched was Akira. Didn't understand it. I've watched it like 100 times since I was 3. Still don't really understand it. But still really rockin' good anime. But my anime that really turned me on to anime was this one, Project Echo, and this is the second anime I ever watched. And I just think this is a hilarious anime. And when I was 3, obviously I didn't understand all the jokes, but this anime really did a lot for me. It's what made me love anime. It's what made me want to start coloring my hair. It was a really inspirational thing for me, and so I absolutely love this anime. And for any of you who haven't heard of it, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there, please do pick it up and watch it because it's really good. Whatever you do though, do not watch it in English. It's horrible in English. You must only ever watch it in Japanese with English subtitles. I remember once with my very first boyfriend ever, which is so long ago, but he knew that I loved this anime, so he bought it, and this was back when things were VHS, okay? So there was no choosing the dubbed or choosing the subbed option. It was like, you had bought the English version, and that's what he did. He bought the English version, and it was so bad that I got so upset, and I like totally kicked it and ruined it and stomped on it. It's dead now. So yeah, do not watch the English. It's horrible in English. Also, you're probably better off not to watch the sequel or the trilogy. Like, just watch the first one, because it's the only one worth watching. But yeah, the very first anime I ever saw was Project Echo, and I just fell super in love with it. And through being able to have more experience with anime through my brother, and you know, looking up to my brother and wanting to be more like him, just watching more and more anime, that's what made me fall in love with it. So yeah, thanks to my brother that I actually got exposure to it, and exposure to video games and stuff. That's how I got into anime when I was 3 years old, a little thing, watching some bootlegged videos, I guess, from his Korean friend, who I have no idea who he is now because it's 27 years later and my memory does not go back that far in detail. I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night in detail, so there you go. But, that's the answer to those 2 questions. Hopefully I dragged them out long enough to fill up a good video, and hope you guys enjoyed them. Okay, I'll see you guys next week with another episode, and next month with another episode of Ask a Girl Who Can't Find Herself. See you guys later. Bye!
I am a very stylish girl.